Okay, so now that you know that we have three different kind of images to deal with, we would actually need to make some changes inside our image picker, because right now it's only configured to handle one image at a time. But now that we have a hero image, a cafe image, and a stay image, we would actually need to take things differently. So for this case, we would actually create an enum. Let's call it image type. Image type would only have like three cases, so it would have a hero image, then it would have a cafe image, and it would have a stay image. Once this is done, we can make few changes inside our image picker. One thing I notice is that we are right now using this presentation mode value, which is actually not needed, because what you could do here is that we could use picker.dismiss and it gives us the same functionality. So we can remove this here, we can remove it from here as well, and add the same code picker.dismiss, giving the animated value true. This is there. And also we don't really need to check for the edited images. I don't think so it's required for us, because like I saw that the scope of editing is not so big here. People can actually edit their photos in their own specified apps, and then they could just use the photo to post here. So we are not actually trying to create a photo app, right? It's more of a social media app. So I'm just trying to minimize the places of, like, error, like why would the app has such minimal functionality in terms of editing, rather than let's not have it. So that's my take on it. Now that we have done this much, we don't really need the selected image value as well. We would actually create a variable which would be of the type image type with the enum we just defined. Now what we would do, that instead of using selected image, we would actually have a closure to take care of the image. So a closure is basically like a function only. Closures are more like unnamed functions, and they have a callback to them. And I was thinking of creating a specific video on closure inside the course as well. So I would actually do that, and I would include that in this section itself, so that would make it easier for you guys to understand as well. So this is there. We can have a return type of void. So the closure can take in an image and it returns void basically. So we have the image picked, and then what we can do is that we can go down here, and inside our coordinator class and inside our image picker controller function, we would need to, instead of this, we would need to call on image picked, and on image picked would take in the image. So this is there. And yep, so I don't think so there's any more change that we need to do here. Let me just go through the things, and no, it all looks fine to me. And we can obviously remove this selected image functionality. Our compiler will soon throw us some errors because we have changed the image picker, so we will look into that. And for now, let's just go into our views. And I was thinking that we could either go with creating the create post view, or either we can also go about creating, the what do you call it, the post view basically. So the post view would be that it's kind of a sub view that would have the post view cell basically. So if you see in this screenshot I've shown you, this would be kind of a post view, which is a sort of a carousel only. So if you have used any streaming app, you would notice that they have some sort of a similar UI. Again, I went on Behance and looked to some designs, and I found it quite unique, so I just added this design into my post. And this is like the first image of the carousel basically. So the main image goes here, the caption goes behind, and there's the budget, and there's the other caption, like any favorite caption. And then you can scroll from here, and users can see the other pictures and all. Like you can see that the part of image is being visible here, like this must be the second or third image, or like best place to visit, or something inside the inside your trip that you mentioned. So this is there. So we would be attempting to create this UI. But then again, I was thinking that should we go about creating this UI, or should we go about creating the create post view first? So I'm just thinking about it. Like, should we, if we create the create post view first, we would actually have the option to, what do you say, if we create a create post view first, we would actually have the option to see our we won't have the option to see our post, because we would then have to spend some time in seeing the posts, basically like creating the post view cell. So how about we just go with first creating the post view only. So for post view, I was thinking I would divide it into two different parts. So basically, the first part would be this whole first page of the carousel, which is a custom UI and everything. But then other parts would be simply the image with the caption on top in kind of a Z stack or something. So we can go about that. So let's just create a new folder inside views, call it sub views. And now what we can do is do command n, and we can do Swift UI view, and we can say post view cell first page. So it's kind of very descriptive, and I mean makes sense also, like for others to understand like what's going on. So this is there. We can remove the preview panel from here, and we can keep this text for now, because now I'm thinking that what all we would need. So you could see that it definitely needs two different kinds of text. One is this, and then there's the budget, and there's this the vegan pizza written here also. So three different kind of text inputs and one image input, and this is all shapes and colors only. So that this can be taken care of. So it actually needs like three different parameters basically. So first let's just go with adding those. So in our requirement we have the caption, we have the budget, and let's call it mini caption, the other one, which is inside the video or the song player kind of UI. So this is there. Now we can add the hero image property, and yeah, this is it. So basically we need these four properties to continue with our thing. And now what we can do is we can create a Z stack first. I'm creating the Z stack because I will start with creating the text view basically. So the background of this whole thing contains the text lined up in a vertical stack, and there's a small player thing also going on here, if you could see. So yeah, this is there. So let's just start by creating the Z stack. We create a vertical stack here, and let's just not give it any spacing for now, because I think our custom font already has some spacing predefined in its library. So basically it would be easier for us that way. We can have a small spacer here with a frame of height, let's just say 4 pixels, HIGHT. This is there. What we can do is we can loop through numbers, so basically 0 till 3, and we don't really need any value from here, so we can do underscore, and we can add the text caption. So basically it would repeat the caption 3 times, and let's just have what values does the caption would need. So it requires a custom font first of all, so that is what we are giving it here. Let's give it a size 40, seeing that it's quite huge, so going for that look. This is there. And what else do we need foreground color, foreground color of black obviously. Then we need frame, and frame, because you see that these are left aligned, so that means we would give it max width of infinity, and alignment to keep the whole thing left aligned, it would be leading. And there would be some padding as well, because we don't really need any padding on this side anyways, we are pushing the view to the left. So let's just give it some padding to the leading edge basically. So this is it. Now what we can do is we can create a Z stack for this bottom thing that we are creating. So basically we will create one slim rounded rectangle and place this circle on top of it. So that is what I'm thinking about. And instead of a rounded rectangle here, we could actually use capsule as well. Capsule is one of the shapes other than rounded rectangle, circle defined inside a Swift UI library. So this is what I'm doing right now. And we can have black with opacity of like 0.2, because you could see that this is pretty dim. So this is there. Then we can have a frame, and the frame would obviously be like 1.5 pixels or something, because like it's quite thin. So this is what I'm going for here. And then we can add some padding, and this padding should be horizontal, so from the edges basically. And now we can add the circle here, and this circle will have again a fill of black color, and then it would have a frame. The frame would give it a width of something like 6, so we don't really need to define the height because circles are like symmetrical in that manner. We can give it an offset. Basically, I don't want the circle to appear right on the middle or right on the leftmost edge, so we're just offsetting the x-axis for the circle, and it would offset it by 50 pixels. So what it does is that it essentially allows us to just go about moving it a bit to the right hand side. So that is what we are doing, giving it some padding from the top and the bottom. So from the top, let's just give it a bit of a padding, because again I don't want it to look weird from beneath that it's being pushed up. So that is what I'm doing. Now that we have done this much, we can just wrap up this Z stack, and we can wrap up this vertical stack as well. This is all our background. So this is there. Now what we can do is work on the foreground. So basically the foreground would include that yellow player thing, this whole thing. So it includes an image and everything. So this is what we are going for now. We can add some spacing here. The spacing would be of like 2 pixels. This is there. We can pass in the image, and since it's an image, okay, we have hero image here, so we can pass in the hero image. We can give it a resizable modifier. Then the aspect ratio should be content mode fill. So this is what I'm going for. Then we give it a frame. So the frame would be with 72, and the height would be 72 as well. And sorry about that. Now we can give it some corner radius as well. Let's give it 2 pixels or something, and let's give it some padding as well, again 2 pixels. So I'm not giving it, if I had to give it some default padding, it might change the whole way the view looks. So that's not what I'm going for here. That's not the look. And we can have the mini caption here, and we can give it some font with custom, and we can have fonts dot bold, and this could be of the size 8 because it's quite small, as you can see. So I think 8 seems fine. Then we can have a foreground color of black, let's see. Then we can give it a frame, and the frame would be like, we are defining a width here so that it does not cross that width basically, and the alignment should be leading basically. Now what we can do is we can allow the vertical expansion, in the sense that if we give it a fixed size, and the fixed size would be horizontal false and vertical true. So basically it won't stretch this way, but rather it would stack up like this, you can see, in case the text is a bit long. So this is what I'm doing. Now we can give it some padding, which would be horizontal obviously, and some padding on top as well, but I don't want to give it a lot of padding, so let's just do 4 pixels. So this is there. Let's create the edge stack now. So creating the edge stack, we have a button here. This button won't be actually clickable, so we can just go about not even creating a button in the first place. But then I was thinking that we could either add a functionality that if the user clicks on this button, the photo changes. So I was thinking about that. So for now, let's go about creating. So we need this, this, and this. So 3 images from Swift SF symbols. So this is what we are doing. And then we need to give it some custom font. And will custom font work directly on SF symbols? I'm not quite sure about that, but let's just suppose even if the size works, because I don't think so the fonts are defined for these symbols. But then if we give it some font size, I think it should adapt to that. And backward action, let's say, and this is there. So this button is completed. What we can do now is copy this thing out. We can add a spacer, copied it again, we can again add it spacer, and then we can add it again. And now this time we would have play.fill. So this is the middle icon, play.fill. And this one we would have what do you call it? Let me just quickly check this one. So it should be forward.fill. So this is there, and then what we can do is that we can add some padding to our edge stack that would be horizontal, and then we can give it a frame which would again be of the width 60 pixels, same as the caption, so it remains in the same design sense basically, and it's aligned to the center as you can see. So that is one more thing. This vertical stack is here. Now what we need to do is that we can give the whole thing some frame. So let's give it a frame width of total 80 pixels. So I think that should not break any constraints, and let's just give it a height of 120, considering that we have hard coded the height and width of the images and everything, so that would look fine. And we will soon work on this and actually make it a bit dynamic, because I'm thinking of showing the post not only here in smaller sizes but also in the home feed where you can see it from. So it should adapt to this as well as this, and with our current layout it won't actually work fine. So that is one thing. We don't need corner radius, we don't need corner size, we need corner radius. Let's give it 7. And how about we just quickly resume working on this post view cell, and I would actually complete the post view in the next video. So I hope to see you in the next video, and if you have any doubts you can just drop down in the comments. Thank you.